Hey there, Patrick. It's Greg T from the Image Top, and I'm just doing a quick video overview of some of the things you had noted in your email, just to make sure that I kind of explain this best. Sometimes the email and that is not the best way of doing so because there's a little bit more details to it. I guess the first things first. I am noting in the email too. We should now that the holidays are over and we've got everything all launched and rolling and stuff like that. We should set up a time where we can go through the back end of your site and show you how to access things and do things for yourself. Because yes, there is the ability to do so, and that is part of what we quote and what we do with our website builds. One thing in our website builds too is, I guess to reiterate as a note, is we are not an SEO company, and we do not believe that good web developers should when they're focusing on the on-page conversion type of site like we do, that they should be also dabbling in the SEO and doing all these other things. Just like we don't believe that digital marketing and SEO companies should say, yeah, we build websites too, because honestly, there ends up being a jack of all trades and master of none situation. We see many bad sites that do not convert well on the page and so on and so forth, do not convey the image and the culture that the website should, because it is a different focus as far as how it develops and how it looks. Ideally, to be real, the absolute best websites when it comes to SEO are ones that look horrible and are not great for when visitors come, because they have extremely small or not very well done imagery, just a lot of text, in order to up their SEO rankings. So that's something to consider when you're looking at some of these things. Now, that said, we do, as we say in our quote, put in an SEO plugin that you can use, and we'll show you a little bit here on how to use some of those things here. So I want to go through some of the things that the links that you sent said, and where that kind of stands. So let's start with this here. This first one that we have on the screen here. It's noting the links and authority, rank tracker, so on and so forth here. And I find that really interesting. The on-site SEO is good. Or is okay, and that's neat because it has only the basics put in. So this is something that can be amplified fairly easy, and we'll show you here really quickly where that's done. And in our meeting, when we do the setup for your site to talk about that, we can get into some more detail with that for you. So let's kind of go through here. First of all, the links and website authority. I found one thing really interesting here, and that is looking at the linking domains. When you look at that, it says here on the, that linking domains is the number of websites that link to your site. That's cool. And then link count, you go over there, number of links that lead from other sites to yours. So this is neat. This is sites that link to your website and links that lead from another site to yours. I'm confused a little bit because I thought that sounded like the same thing. So, what exactly that is kind of going through in that. I love, I guess, a better or bigger explanation of that. I guess as you do read through that too, it's talking about backlinks and stuff versus straight to and so on and so forth. And that may be it. Not the case. That's something you need to build on. That's external from your site. So that's really not connected to your site itself. Looking at the website age, obviously it's a newer site. Newer sites do take much longer as far as ranking is concerned. Yes, you can do concentrated efforts when it comes to digital marketing but when it comes to, I guess, your grassroots or your, just your plain, SEO, your on page that you're doing yourself, as opposed to using advertising and so on and so forth, the paid version stuff, that's it will take time. Usually I've seen, actually several years ago, it took a good 3 months or so. It's probably bigger now because, to be real, the industry has steered itself more toward paid results. And as a result, it is more difficult to get yourself organically to show up higher. Yes, it can be done, but it does take that extra. So that's just to be real. Websites have gone the way of television. Television ads, when it first started, were a lot cheaper than they are now. Okay, so let's kind of go through here. Looking at some of the ranking things, I get that. Local business listings. Yeah, this is stuff that, Jacob definitely helped you on. This is where to get yourself listed, get yourself put up there as far as your business stuff's concerned. And again, this will take time to do stuff. Reviews, another thing, get things going there. Your Google business profile audit, interesting thing there. You've got some decent rankings there, some things that you could get better at, and that gets into your digital advertising again. On-site SEO, I love that, and I have an interesting. I've had to or done a lot of delving into the Google page speed scores, and I'll tell you right now, they are tainted. And there will be other companies who will argue with me on that, and that's fine. I'll sit down with them. We'll have a good talk about it. The reality is that the way the Google page scores are done, it ignores what is actually set up with your website and several sites, and that is on, I guess, hosting level caching. Okay, so what will happen is people will use different plugins. So, we're going to increase our or help our caching. We're going to add all these plugins and stuff when that can actually conflict with hosting level caching. And the Google page speed scores ignore that side of things. We had some reports, for instance, in the past from SEO companies through some of our clients. And to be quite frank, the SEO companies were doing what they could to take the website and the hosting away from us and move it to them so that they could, talk them into developing a new site because this site just doesn't work. That's the kind of thing that we've seen happen several times, and it's a way of trying to get new business. It's a kind of bad way of doing it, in my opinion, but that's fine. So what has happened is what they do is they use this as an example and say, oh, look at the page score, it's really slow. Well, what was happening in one particular instance, actually, and this is an extreme, but they said, yeah, it takes almost 20 seconds for the page to load. Look what Google says. But when you actually physically went to the site, it took less than 2. In fact, we did a timing, I think it was 1.28 seconds for that page to load. And it was really fascinating in that because Google did, as they say, ignore the way that the caching works. So that said, your site hosting handles caching at a server level. Okay, it eliminates the need for caching plugins, and to be real, server-side caching is significantly more efficient and scalable than any plugin-based caching since it doesn't rely on PHP. In addition, to be real and to understand this, is caching plugins do run the risk of interfering with server-side caching. So if someone adds caching to the site, it can end up conflicting with the caching, degrading performance, and often plugins will cause conflicts with access loops and stuff like that. So it's something to avoid. We set up and have done our research in a very, very hefty way to get the best hosting for our clients and things that are going to end up working for people. When people go to the site, it loads fast, things will work well. Can there ever be issues? Well, yes, there can. There can be internet access issues that have nothing to do with the site whatsoever, but things to know like that. So let's kind of go through here. It's going through the rest of the technical stuff here. It's saying there about the page speed, yes, but you look at the other ones, you've got some decent rankings there, which is good. Page descriptions, yes, that is something that can and get better. Now, are missing descriptions? I question that only to a certain extent because, yes, the descriptions are there, but they right now set up very generically. And that's something that can be done on a page-by-page level, which we can show you how to do that because the plugin's already installed. It's already sitting there on your site. So alt tags, there's one too. Yes, it says there's 57 found and 57 missing. Find that interesting as well. But let's kind of take a quick look. I've got your media page open. I want to take a look. So what an alt tag is, now there's 2 ways of doing it. And the best way when it comes to things on your particular site, okay, because of the builder that we use and the way it works is, first of all, I'd like to go take a look at the images. Your images are actually very, very fine-tuned as far as sizing is concerned. I know one of the other ones says, oh, they can be smaller. Yeah, sure they can, but to what extent do we degrade the image then as far as the visuals? We have fine-tuned your images. The rule of thumb is anything 1 megabyte or more is too large. So a megabyte, that's 1,000 kilobytes. Take a look here. It's one of your bigger pictures. It right there, as you can see, is 289 kilobytes. And as we kind of go through, there's 102, there's 29, there's 125. So you can see how they're all well under. I think that we get about halfway at some. There you go, like in the 500 area is kind of where we max out. Actually, there's a bigger one there. It's a blank, and that was actually just one of the ones that we used as a filler. I don't even think it's being used in the site, to be quite frank. So that's kind of good to know. So there's kind of some of the stuff you have there as far as your overall sizing on your images. Now, I want to point there too. There is a spot here for putting alternative text, which is your alt tag. However, the way that the site's built and the way to make it work best is to actually go into the module itself, when that is where the image here is actually sitting, and add the alt text or tag stuff in with that. And again, we'll teach you on that. So get that link. Let's schedule something up and we'll show you how to do this. So going back to that report, where is that here? Sorry, I just want I want to find that. There we are. Going back, we'll show you how all this works. Now, sparse content on pages. Yes, adding some more content is a thing too, and SEO companies will help you fine tune that too. A really good SEO company will talk about your H2, or H1, H2, H3, so on and so forth, all your heading tags as well, which, where your headings and what the hierarchy works. We have worked your site, generally in that. Yes, an SEO company would go and fine tune that by all means. If they don't talk about that, I question what they're doing, straight up. Okay. Now let's kind of go here. Responsive design, everything to the mobile page load. Again, find that interesting because it isn't taking into consideration the page or the hosting level caching. It just simply is not. That's there. Going on here, addresses on all pages. I find that interesting. Love to know more about that. So we take a look here, and it says having your physical address on your website. Interesting one there too, because that the footer has, this information here. It doesn't have your address. We could get that added really simple is what it comes down to. So add that to your footer. Not a problem to do. Easy one. It comes down to phone number. Obviously that's there. And when it goes to the whole markup here, taking a look, what are they talking about here? Provides a set of common tags that can be applied to common items in the site. Okay, cool. Very generic. Love that, don't you? Anyway, make it clear search engines what the content is. So talk to the SEO company. Say, okay, what do we need to add to those? And as far as analytics tag, of course, it's going to be done because are you using Google Analytics? Therefore, is an SEO company helping you? And are you very likely being using paid ads? Because that is where this ends up leading to. Do I think paid ads are bad? No. Do I use them myself? No. I rely on referral business and then the use of my site from there, and it works for us. That said, it's not for everybody, and can paid ads work? Yes, they can if done properly and well. So that's a real basic there. Kind of going here to looking here at looking at the speed, performance, and so on and so forth. I love that. I love how you're getting 100 on best practices in SEO, whereas the other one you got it was okay. So see what you see, depending on where you do your searches and where you do some of your checking, you're going to get different results. And the truth is, I personally do not trust all the results we get because they are angled and geared towards sales. I'm a published SEO author. So full disclosure and background. I think I may have mentioned that before in our meeting, but it's been a while. And many years ago, we looked at how things were going, and I didn't like the way SEO was going. It was going to a paid inclusion way, and I saw this, good 15 plus years ago. In fact, to be honest, I think I was writing articles 18 years ago on SEO, so that gives you some background. And in that, we were doing these articles in a magazine, and after we only did I think 2-3 months worth of articles in that magazine, and then we stopped and said, you know what, I'm not going to be doing these anymore and submitting, because after the analysis internally said this is not where I want to go. I want to work with clients one-on-one and not rely on having to have them have paid regular paid things, because SEO, seriously, it needs to be monitored and adjusted. People say monthly. It's weekly if you want to get amazing quicker results. Not quick, but quicker. That's the important thing there. So that gives you a general, kind of what we're looking at there. So yes, I know what's going on, I understand, but there's also more to the picture. And as long as that's being looked at, that's okay. So kind of looking there, saying again, it's saying that I got this one highlighted here, the resource size, it can be reduced. That's interesting. Can it be reduced? Sure it can. And we need no one doing that. That's totally your call. Look at the minor reduction in that. That's not even 100 kilobytes on any of these. So I find that very interesting. Not a huge things. Those aren't huge issues. Are they going to save 2.5 seconds load? Again, back to the server level caching. I highly, highly doubt it. Going on the rest here, there are many things that we can and will show you. Accessibility is looking pretty good there. Sure is there improvement. There's improvement coming down all the time. In fact, an interesting note for you too is I find that when we are looking at some of these rankings and some of these overviews and audits and things, I have had sites register in one place with one audit, and then going back to it a couple months later with absolutely no changes to the site, ranked entirely different, because the ranking algorithms and settings have been changed by the company that does it, aka Google. And it does happen often. I have seen ones that rank huge, and then when Google changes their algorithms, they all of a sudden fall off the face of the earth. Now, some of that is due to inappropriate and kind of, I'll say, cheating the system, which you should not ever do, but it can happen. So it's just something to understand that this is how it works. I love this, and ensures that your page is following basic search engine optimization advice. It says 100% here. That's amazing in itself. So lastly, I want to go back here. I want to look at it. So here, Yoast SEO, it is set up. You see it's noticing that there are no problems. There's a whole bunch of different settings we can look at. Now, this can be done on a page-by-page basis too, okay? So here's how your SEO titles work. Adding a description here. Let's do that general description. Now, right now, the descriptions are set through the text that's actually existing in the page. You don't have to purchase the premium or the licensed version of this if you don't want to. It does give you some more options, that's all. So on the description side of things, right now, the way that the site goes, I'm going to go into this customization area, and you can see where this is as far as the generic descriptions and titles are concerned. But we go to the general settings, right? We go to the site identity, and here's where we have this. So here's your here. Now the tag outline right now kind of functions as your description. So what I'm going to do is actually just copy that. And just for the sake of, since we're in the midst of kind of talking about these things right now, I'm going to go in and say, okay, so here's our general. We're going to go to the, notifications. It changed there on this, so the search appearance. My apologies here, hold on. And where was that? Was that the content? It was. I'm going to go here, I'm going to paste that there. We're just going to add that just so you've got that in the description for now. It'd be interesting to see how that changes. Can that be refined and changed? Yes, it can. And that's the cool thing. And as I said, this can be done on a page level basis. So what we're going to show you, and I'm just going to refresh this page so you can see, I'm going to show you that if we go into the backend edit page, and this is something, again, that we'd probably do and teach you on how to do that in the backend during our meeting for the backend of your site. Where are we here at the 16-minute mark? So I'm gonna almost 17. So yeah, you go down, and on a page-by-page basis, we're gonna double load there, no worries. We go here. You can go and change. So here you go. You do have a description here right on this page, and that is your kind of standard that is sit there. That's the kind of one we have in there. We can change the title here to all your stuff, and you get different rankings accordingly. So right there, just adding that one could have changed it. Here you can check all the different things, how things are working for you. And again, we'll walk through it in more detail, but this can be set even by yourself on a page-by-page basis to see where things can go. If you want to go and pay someone to do this, by all means, they're going to have more knowledge and be able to fly through this better and more streamlined and focus on it differently for you. And lastly, they're probably going to talk to you about digital marketing too, and how you need a different landing page and so on and so forth. Let's talk about that when you get there. There are ways of doing things well. There's the ways that can be a waste of money. I've seen both work well depending on what it is that you're being talked to. That's it. So I hope that makes sense for you. Let's set up a meeting. Let's get that done so we can kind of talk more about how all this works and how everything can be set and working better for you in the long run. And while I'm in here, I'm going to go and do a quick back-end update, even though we have that an automated process for that. And no of these ones here, we're going to make that all done for you. Anyway, thanks a lot, Patrick. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.